Hi everyone, welcome to the Stewarding for round 4 at Sebring of the GT Challenge series on GRDC. I've gone through the first lap instance. I hope you all watched the replay on the first lap because it was pretty spectacular. Took quite a bit of time to unpick exactly what has happened, but we'll look at the thing which we think caused it right at the start. Okay, so I play it forward at normal speed. We'll follow Dan Birch here. The first collision in this whole mess is between Dan and I think Brian ahead. We'll watch it first. If there's a better view to watch it from.
Just behind the car, I suppose, is...
We'll watch it from here.
Oh, yeah. That's a good view of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the first thing to say, obviously this is quite a narrow piece of track in the scheme of things, and it's dead straight. And this accident has happened before we've even got across the line. So let's go back to the in-car view. There you go. So at this point you can see Brian is slightly ahead of where he should be in his box, so I think we get a better view of it here.
Yeah.
I think possibly Brian is ahead of where he should be. It's really hard to tell because it doesn't show me them markers. There you seem to go. We see Brian at this point here. Brian goes.
He released his pit limiter a little early and then put it back on.
Yeah. So poor Dan behind. Obviously doesn't know that Brian
taken by surprise.
Yeah, he is taken by surprise, but so
yeah.
I think the initial problem is that Brian has, like Dan says, gone a little bit early, then had to re-engage the pit limiter and then not disengaged it in time, and this has caused Dan to hit the back of him. But I do think Dan has to take some responsibility. We'll come to that in a minute. We'll just watch, I'll go forward and watch it from Brian's perspective. So I'm looking at inputs over here. So
yeah, so when the pit limiter's on, even if you're on full throttle, it won't show a full throttle input. It'll show just a tiny bit of throttle where the game is holding the speed. So there. So you can see the rain light is flashing when the pit limiter's on.
You're still on at this point.
Yeah.
Craig is completely innocent, and as is most of the other people involved in this. I mean, this caused Craig alone had 7 collisions. So that's what we think happened, and I do think Brian has to bear responsibility for not going at the start.
Yeah.
So there will be a penalty for not paying enough attention at the start, causing a massive pile up. Let's go back to look at from Dan's perspective, because I think Dan is also responsible, and I'll explain why I think so. So from Dan's point of view, I think if you'd reacted, you do have a responsibility to try and avoid this car in front. And I don't think you reacted quickly enough, and it shows if I show it in slow motion. You're on the throttle. There's no point to you lift, and as a result, you unfortunately clip Brian. So you see you're on the throttle here. We're going now. Still on the throttle. About it's just the gear change, still full on the throttle whenever collision
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
So I think that is going to be a penalty as well. No one else behind could react to that. It was just a complete mess.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look at it from a few cars back, probably this side. It's the best bit.
Yeah.
But that, if you look at it in the cockpit, most of these people will be unsighted by the car
Yeah.
in front.
Yeah.
I get a decent cockpit view probably on this one, isn't it? Yeah, so this car here is not going to know that's happened until it's too late. And that's pretty much the same situation with most people behind.
Yeah.
At this point, they know something's happening. They're lifting off and braking. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't think we need to look at that too much.
No.
Alright, so that's going to be a 10-second penalty, and I think it's doubled for the first lap.
Yeah.
For both Brian and
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay, we'll move on to the next bit, which is part of this instant. Okay, so I just wanted to check this after that collision, and basically I'm looking at Brian's inputs to see whether he braked at the point where he'd lost control, but we'll watch it first in real time. So there's no braking input there, but it is happening all very quickly.
Yeah.
It's easier to see that if I run it slowly that there's no braking input, but I think on this occasion it's all happening so quickly that
Yeah, he's probably in shock.
yeah, I mean it's tricky, isn't it? He didn't know he was going to get hit there either.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm happy with that he didn't have enough time to react and just watch it one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough ask. It's probably maybe just over a second to react. So
yeah,
I don't think there's a lot he could have done realistically. Okay,
no.
we'll move on to the next one then. Now, okay, so at the back of that problem at the start, there was a consequence of it if we watch this in real time first. So Ian has a bit of a nightmare, goes all the way across the track, and at this point I think his steering's probably completely wrecked, but I'd initially flagged an issue between Cookie and Ian. So I was initially looking at this contact here where Ian's going left and Cookie's going very slightly right. In itself, I think this is a racing incident. If we go back far enough, we can see why Ian's having such a hard time, because he's taken a massive amount of damage here.
Yeah.
So first he hits Dan from the first collision, then he goes left, and at this point he's out of control going right, at which point he collects Craig here and Cookie's right here, and it also caught up in that. It's difficult to unpick that one. I don't think I can blame anyone. I can't see what anyone could have done.
No, just so much happened so fast.
Because if you think Ian at this point, he's not got enough time to assess whether his steering's broken at that point.
No.
And he's been hit again at that point, so he's already turning right.
Yeah.
It's not. I think he's just a passenger. At least at this point, he's got some forward momentum to try and keep going. But yeah, I don't think I can apportion any blame for that one, because it's very hard to expect people to react that quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to the next one, which I think is a bit later in the lap. Okay, so the next instant is between Cookie and Jordan. I'll go back a little bit further to the first. So it's the long straight towards the back end of the lap we're looking at. Cookie gets quite a good run off of here. And at this point, Cookie's shown his intentions. He's not deviated his line, but Jordan moves across his line here and makes a very slight contact.
Yeah,
Which
he could have he almost pit manoeuvred himself.
yeah, which on balance would normally I'd put no further action, but because there's a slight collision, it puts Cookie into a worse. Well, Cookie's got no choice but to back off and try a different line. I just feel
Yeah.
that the move was maybe slightly late.
Yeah, I mean, making a late defensive move, I think, is okay if you're not cutting off someone's nose. If you see in the mirror someone's gaining on you and you think they might make a move, moving over then is okay to make them have the outside line. But if they've got the run and they're this close and they're about to get alongside you, it's a bit. It's a late time to decide to defend in relation
Where's
to
my car's gone?
the other car. Oh, you've lost the cars.
I have lost the
Other
cars.
way. Yep. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think had you not made any collision, obviously I wouldn't have flagged it at all. But
Yeah.
you were so close. I think. Yeah, I don't think it was entirely sporting to move across at that point, especially as you did make contact. I don't think it's worth a timed penalty there on its own.
No. No. Just to take care in future and only move across like this if you know you're not going to touch that car that's got the run.
Yeah, and the next instant was just after this. So at this point, Jordan's got a lot tighter line going into this corner.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where he braked. Yeah, I mean that's a reasonable time to brake.
Yeah.
But you're on a tighter line, and that's just a meeting of lines, and there was no real consequence from that for either driver.
No.
It was a good race actually.
Yeah.
Slight bit of contact. I think Jordan just needs to try and be a bit more aware of the radar.
Yeah.
Where people are, that will probably help. So on this occasion, I think we put them all down to one warning.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that. I don't think there's anything else to look at, is there? Is that
it? No more incidents.
Okay, so I think that's it for this week.
Yeah.
Again, if you've got, as I say, because I'm only looking at the first lap, if you want to make sure I don't miss anything, I will try my best not to miss anything, but you can always report it. I'd rather have something reported rather than me miss it by accident. And obviously you need to report anything that happens after the first lap because I'm not looking at them actively. I'd say it's especially important to report things if it's like a big track like Le Mans or something, or even Spa, because it takes quite a long time to look at all these cars and see where they've had collisions. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you very much.
Yep.
See you next week.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.